This meeting will come to order. Madam Recorder, roll call, please.
Alderwoman Key.
Here.
Alderwoman Madison.
Here.
Vice Mayor Adams.
Here.
Alderwoman Redd.
Here.
Alderwoman Venable. Here.
Thank you, Madam Recorder. Fellow citizens, will you stand and pray with me? Almighty God, who has given us the good land of our heritage, we humbly beseech Thee that we may always prove ourselves a people mindful of Thy favor and glad to do Thy will. Bless our land with honorable ministry, sound learning, and pure manners. Save us from violence, discord, and confusion, from pride and arrogance, and from every evil way. Defend our liberties and fashion into one united people the multitude brought hither out of many kindreds and tongues. Endow with Thy spirit of wisdom those whom in Thy name we entrust the authority of government, that there may be justice and peace at home, and that through obedience to Thy law we may show forth Thy praise among the nations of the earth. In time of prosperity, fill our hearts with thankfulness, and in the day of trouble, suffer not our trust in Thee to fail. All of which we ask through Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Chief Depew, would you mind, please, to lead us in the pledge?
I sure will. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. You may be seated. Special item on the agenda this evening, actually two, the board and I are very proud to host, are first of all recognizing and welcome everybody. Secondly, we will be recognizing two icons, I guess if you will, the Bluff City Diner, and we'll also issue a proclamation to honor flight of the Appalachian Highlands. This board is in recess. With the ownership of the Bluff City Diner, please come forward. Hello, Ms. Christie.
Hi.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
It is my pleasure, as behalf of our board, our town, and this entire community, to present you this small token, a certificate that we made on our own, recognizing your contribution to all of us. Many folks, far and wide, come to your establishment and get a lesson in Bluff City history in about 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Your hospitality, the wonderful food, your hospitality, and all the things that you and your business have done for our community definitely deserve recognition. So allow me to read your certificate. A certificate of appreciation is presented to the Bluff City Diner for your outstanding ambassadorship of the town of Bluff City and her rich history. And it is signed by my hand today. Thank you for all that you do for us.
Thank you very much.
We have a round of
Appreciate
applause,
it.
please. Whenever you see.
Thank you.
All right. Will the representatives of Honor Flight of the Appalachian Highlands please come forward? This is a special treat, ladies and gentlemen, and before that we issue this proclamation, we have two distinguished guests. Sir, if you would please identify yourself to the board.
I'm Jack Lady.
Mr. Lady, and yourself, sir?
I am Todd Fields.
And Mr. Fields, you're part of the board
Yes.
of this organization.
And I'm a veteran. I was on the last trip.
Awesome. Well, would you mind to take just a minute to explain to everyone how the organization works and what this is?
Well, we are. I guess we're donations. We ask for donations. They pick the veterans. There was 20 of us that went on this trip back in October, and it did everybody some good. It really did. It did a lot of us some good. It healed. It was a healing trip. We did not see anything political. It was all memorials, which was good, which was real good. And we were running with our tongues hanging out for 3 days. But I was telling Todd, I said I'd go back in a heartbeat, but according to the law, I cannot go back as a veteran. I could go back as a helper, but I'm not physically able to do that. But I told Todd, and I've told Michelle, who's over our group, that I will help in raising money. We've got what do you call it, a breakfast?
Yeah, we're having a benefit breakfast and a silent auction this Saturday.
This Saturday.
Okay. Wonderful.
And these different things, I'm sure that will come through the year. I think from what I understand, are they going to try to take 4 this next year, 4 trips?
This year we had 2 trips.
I
Next
met
year,
with Michelle.
Yeah. I think they were going to try to take 4 trips. So we left out Elizabethton around about 9:00 at Elizabethton Eastside Baptist Church, and we had an escort. We went through Eastside Elementary School, and they let out the kids because it's right next door to the church.
Yes, sir.
And we drove around the school, and that was just that was something. And then we had an escort all the way to the state line, and then we left them, and we went to D-Day Memorial.
Yes, sir.
And we even had an escort out of the D-Day Memorial in Virginia. And then when we were coming back Sunday, we stopped at the state line and the visitor center, and we had another escort coming back. I mean, it was just you have to be there to let it explain, how it makes you feel. I mean, I had a lot of feelings. I really do.
I understand. May I explain to the group a little bit?
Yeah.
So, Honor Flight of the Appalachian Highlands takes groups of veterans at no cost to them and escorts them to Washington, D.C., where they tour certain monuments at Washington, D.C., and they actually stay there at no expense. They're fed, right?
And we're fed
And
well.
taken care of, and then they're brought back under police escort both ways. Here's the cool thing, I think, and I see your hat, and I was in the Army for 30 years. You probably know that. But anyway, when they get back, there's this incredible welcome home that they did not receive when they returned from their service. I'm also proud to say that Michelle and I have coordinated an event to be here in Bluff City, potentially in May of 2023. And where the vessels would load here in Bluff City and return here. So, did I hit the nail on the head?
You got it.
That will be it'll be something to see that. I mean,
Well, we're excited.
people have not witnessed it. like I said, this was my first. I've seen it on TV.
Yes, sir.
And it's even when we left, we had double rows of people waiting, saluting us as we went out. So it's something.
We're excited, and hence we, the board and I, were excited about being the first municipality to issue this proclamation. If you'll allow me. Proclamation recognizing and saluting honor flight of the Appalachian Highlands. Whereas our town and entire community recognize and salute the dedicated and caring work of honor flight of the Appalachian Highlands. And whereas honor flight of the Appalachian Highlands serves our region's veterans and their families in a most noteworthy manner. Whereas honor flight of the Appalachian Highlands offers each veteran not only a very special experience, but the welcome home that they deserve. And whereas our Board of Mayor and Aldermen both recognize and commend every member of the Honor Flight staff for their hard work and fierce dedication. Now, therefore, I, Jeff Broyles, the 48th Mayor of the town of Bluff City, along with the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, do hereby salute Honor Flight of the Appalachian Highlands on this day for exceptional meritorious achievement. Given this day, the 6th day of December, the year of our Lord 2022. Sir, this is yours. Thank you so much. This meeting is back in session. Next item on the agenda, discussion and action of previous meeting minutes of November 1st. Fellow board members, spread before you and upon your receipt were the minutes of that meeting. Are there any additions, corrections?
Yes, I don't agree with the minutes after what happened, what was it, the last meeting, some of the things in here.
Okay. Would you mind to be specific so that we can mark and change them?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. I think we need to go over a little bit more, maybe not tonight, where the minutes stating about where board stated the town manager position would be filled and 60% of that salary would come from general funds. And after MTS spoke, I'm in question about some of this. I need more information on it. So I mean, y'all can vote on it, but I will not vote on it.
Okay. Is there any other discussion concerning the minutes of November 1? There is no more discussion, I hear. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve minutes.
Motion to approve by Vice Mayor Adams.
I'll second it.
Second by whom? Alderwoman Moritz. Madam Recorder, take a vote, please.
Alderwoman Key,
No.
Alderwoman Madison,
No.
Vice Mayor Adams,
Yes.
Alderwoman Moretz,
Yes.
Alderwoman Venable.
No.
Minutes fail. During the motion, they will be brought back up at our next meeting. Next item on the agenda is public comments. Any member of the public that'd like to come up and speak, you'll have 5 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record.
Carolyn Payne, 4818 Bluff City Highway.
Good evening, Ms. Payne.
Good evening, board members. I just, a continuation of what happened at our workshop session. I want to congratulate the board for having MTAS come in and explain a great deal of information to you also, and to us, the citizens that were in the audience listening. On that, I would also like to propose MTAS. I printed it off in the fact when I was at the last meeting, and I just want to throw it out there. This is the first time we've ever had a city manager that's hired And they also recommend here that many councils have found it helpful to appoint a city manager. Of course, it's always healthy for the selection committee. But they also will, at times, they found it very helpful to also include private citizens in the process of reviewing the applications and interviewing the candidates. I personally would not like to be involved in that, but I think Dave Harmon would be a great person to include in that if you all so decided to do so. But anyway, I'll move on from that. A couple of things.
People are requesting.
Thank you, Chief.
I can't grow. Did everybody hear me on that? Anyway, did everybody kind of hear me on that? Yes. Make a nomination for some citizens to be on the committee as well, because they've got some input that might be special and unique. That's not going to come from the board members. And actually, MTAS doesn't even say in here it has to be board members, but I think it's implied. But a couple of things that I wish the board would consider for discussion and action would be making sure that our agendas are posted on our website, not our Facebook page, and that they are done in a timely fashion, and that the workshop also, there be an agenda put on the Bluff City's website page under meetings and agendas, and also that workshop be videoed and that video be posted as well. And when it comes to videos, that videos be posted 2 days after the meeting happens, and that all this must take place prior to close of business, which is 4:30. Their agenda didn't go up on our website till Sunday. I don't know if you all know that or not. And the flyer for the workshop was never put up there. So, I mean, how are we supposed to get information? I asked that question of the board. Can we be informed, please? Just for discussion, but take it further than that. Make a motion and make it happen. The board has the power up here. Please help the citizens, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bay. Would anyone else like to approach the podium and speak?
David Harmon, 200 Holston Drive. I want to compliment you guys on your little scare tactics you used at the last city meeting on raising taxes and everything. You know, you had your little guy from the Harold Coulier. He was here, you know, and he went on a 90-day thing and showed a little thing. And then the first thing his buddy says, going to raise the taxes if we hire a city manager. You remember that? That's a scare tactic. It's been happening since 1980 up in Washington. Everybody knows who was president back in 1980. He was a piece of work. But anyway, don't do that. I'm not questioning your intelligence, your integrity I am questioning. Now, my question is there any possible way that y'all could bring up to have the meetings moved from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock? People have a hard time making the 6 o'clock meeting. I believe you was late one time, wasn't you, Mr. Adams? And, you know, it's hard to make this 7 o'clock. 6 o'clock, people are eating dinner. And they need to do that. And another thing, your city citizens' comments. Could you go back to 2? One at the first part of the meeting and one at the last part of the meeting. 3 minutes each, like we had before. That way we can complain about the things you've discussed that night and not have to wait 31 days, because I forget things. I'm getting old. You know?
I know that feeling.
And so we could do that. I'd appreciate it. And don't use your scare tactics anymore, raising the taxes and doing all that. And you knew exactly what you were doing. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Harmon, I would like to apologize for that. And I know we all went through a lot, and it's been a lot of damage done because live people gotten upset, mad. But the thing about it is, thank God the truth was exposed. What I was saying was true.
Well,
so at least the truth was exposed.
It was a ploy.
It's sad.
To show bad light on the 3 ladies up there that voted to hire a city manager. That's what it was. It's plain and simple.
But the truth was exposed.
I'm good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harmon. Would anyone else like to speak? Mr. Malone?
Terry Malone, 372 Smith Street.
You are recognized.
Got a couple of things, three. The museum is doing really well. I mean, they're getting solid. We finally got all of our stuff I brought to Sharon today, all of our 501Cs and their tax stuff and their EIN numbers and just everything else the government and the state wants. But so we finally got them all, so we pretty much proceed on. And what I want to do is tonight invite the board, mayor and the board, to set a date that y'all would like to come up to see what we've got done, but then have a short session of what your recommendations could be that we could do, what we'd like to have in the museum, and how we can present on further. We've met with the county, people over there in Ramsey came over, a couple of people from Tennessee last night. And so we want to do the city, and then we're going to do some businesses, people, and then we'll be meeting in different groups with people to get ideals, because we're at the point now, most stuff we've done is kind of out of our own ideals and stuff, and I guess I'm out of ideals. But, it's time, and I'm sure y'all can bring a lot and different stuff, and people's always got an ideal. And when they suggest it, then we could run with it and see how feasible it is, what it's going to cost, and what's available on it. So if you'll do that and give a little bit of notice, then we'll try to set up a meeting, if you want to do it overnight, Saturday, Sunday, because everybody on the board is retired, so they ain't got too many excuses, to go. But we'd really like to involve the city's planning part and what y'all see that would be good for us. On the flight deal, my daughter worked for tourism in Knoxville in Knox County. She said that was one of the biggest honors that they had in Knoxville. And I know she sent a video. It's been 5 or 6 years ago or so when she's down there. But there was one plane that they had just for Knoxville. I think it's 150 people or so on it that went up, and they showed the people send them off and bring them in. And they was probably like 20, 30, 40,000 people out there to recommend. That's how big it was. And that's how honored that they were and the stories and stuff on it. So what y'all did tonight was a good start of recognizing here, The other thing is I found the Appalachian Region Commission has appointed, or I guess give money out, to 160 Appalachian students in 16 colleges. Tennessee, East Tennessee State is kind of for ours, Appalachian State, but the region goes from New York to Alabama. And so they give these students out of these colleges, if they take a project, they get graded and get college credit on it. And what they're doing is anything from water quality, health, tourism, anything that the city might have a project or something that they want to do a study on. And they can fill an application out to ETSU, and then if it's in their criteria, they'll do it. And then a lot of times with their recommendations, then it goes up to the next level, maybe grants and stuff. And I'm sure Kevin has, familiar probably with some of that done. And Kimberly's in Chattanooga today with going on her end of it. So hers is the next step up. So that's what they're planning for the thing. So I told her to check on Sullivan County and Bluff City and see what category it was and what we're qualified for.
Thank you.
But if y'all got any projects or whatever that you may be on the burner and you want to go that route, it may be a good way to get them to do a lot of work for you.
Thank you, Mr. Malone.
Thank you.
And members of the board, just please consider a date to accept Mr. Malone's invitation, and we'll get together and go visit with him. Would anyone else like to speak in public comments?
Shirley Clark, 932 Longwood
Welcome,
Lane.
Ms. Clark.
I do have a question. These meetings that we've been having lately about city manager, I just want to know why that we couldn't have heard from our board about that $1.8 million that would have been left in general revenue at the end of the year, I think that would have cut down on some conversations that had gone on at several meetings that we had had when we were told that we wouldn't have any money at the end of the year, that we would be in the red. And I don't know, I just don't understand why that information had to come from MTAS and not from the people sitting in front of us that represents our city. And that's all I have to ask. I just don't understand why we weren't made aware of that before MTAS had to come in and tell us that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Would anyone else like to speak? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on. First item, discussion and action, and that is to retain Mattern and Craig engineers and surveyors to provide professional engineering services for design and implementations of projects funded through the American Rescue Plan Act, including water and or wastewater system improvements. This is something that has been discussed previously by the board, but we have not ever formalized our decision in the minutes. The grants are currently running now. This is already in progress. And it has come to us from TDEC that we should formalize our decision and submit it to TDEC so that the grants can progress. And that's all this is a formality. Would any discussion about this or any question that I can answer?
I'd like to say something. I've been coming to these meetings for years. Dave's been our engineer for years. And every single major project, they always underestimate how much it costs. They always encourage the board to go with the lowest one instead of the middle or even the higher sometimes. But by the time the board's get involved, you already got a company in. They know it, and tax know that it's not going to work with the amount of money that was awarded out, and we have to redo it. And sometimes more money is spent doing that instead of like if you took the second bidder. And this thing happened just once or twice. This is several times. And also, I get the names confused. The gentleman from Edkirk was here at the last meeting or the workshop, and he was saying that the other gentleman used to come. He hesitated when we asked, and then he said that he had to go to North Carolina, and he's going to work over there. Well, some people are saying he's working in Bristol, Tennessee. So I don't know if they fired him and he didn't want to say it out loud or not. Something ain't right.
Well, thank you, Julie. With that, is there a motion?
Well, I'd like to say something too, because I have been coming here for a long time before I was even on the board, and we have had one problem right after another, and which you know that. It's been one problem, and I think maybe it would help if, because a lot of us are new on the board that don't know what's really been going on, to kind of explain a little bit about all these delays that we've had, all the problems we had, because with people that don't know what's really going on, it's hard to vote on something like that. So maybe we could set up something where you can kind of explain a little bit what has taken place beforehand up to now, and if things are going to be better or whatever. Because as far as me, I'm only one vote. I don't want to continue with the problems that we've had in the past, because I've been fighting that too. That's another thing I've been fighting.
Well, if I may, members of the board, since I'm most intimate with the situation, Mattern Craig has made a 180-degree turn in a very short time. And yes, we did have some not so favorable experience with them, with previous engineer, but since Chairman Beckner and Calvin have assumed the reins, things have been great, absolutely great. There is daily communication with us, with Sharon and I, with Alan and I, with the entire staff. The projects, which he's going to brief y'all in a minute, are on track and moving as they should. Yes, we had a terrible experience, but that is not the current state of business. It is absolutely excellent.
I don't want to interrupt you. I don't want to interrupt anybody, but, it has been going on for a while, and I think a lot of us on the board that don't know would feel better getting up to date on what's going on, because really, you said that he's been doing it for a while. You just came into place, didn't you, not too long ago?
Would you step up to the podium, Calvin?
I'll start with Alderwoman Venable's comments. Your previous project manager, he did go to North Carolina for a period of time. During that time, he was juggling several projects, both here, there, and with other clients. But he is working in Bristol now. He left us for health reasons. Is what he told us. He left us on July 2nd of this year, and he went to work for the city of Bristol a few days later. Unbeknownst to us, which is totally his prerogative to go to work wherever, but he was not fired. He was not terminated. He left by his own choice. But with that being said, we acknowledge that there have been several issues.
Yes.
We can't attribute all those to your project manager, but there was a flood of issues. When your previous project manager resigned, Mr. Beckner, myself, and a couple of the other engineers in the office, we got together, and I have my original notes where we took project by project, not just in Bluff City, but in all the projects that were under that particular management at the time. We took those project by project, task by task, and we found out where they were. Were they in limbo because of something we were doing? Were they in limbo because of funding? Because we deal with TDEC, we deal with rural development, we deal with TDOT, all those alphabets that we have to deal with. So we identified where they were status-wise and what do we need to do to move them forward. Anything that was in our court, we moved it forward. And I think that's kind of what the mayor was referring to, because I feel like we did step up. We took the bull by the horn, so to speak, and we started moving those projects forward. And I can give a report on our current projects, and we're monitoring your projects daily, literally, and we're also monitoring the funding sources. We are in a situation right now that there is more money than I've seen in my career. I've been doing this for over 32 years. The federal money is incredible. The levels of funding, just the amounts of money alone are incredible. And what we're seeing is incredible inflation. Our estimates are, like you said, they're low. We're seeing every project come in high. It doesn't matter if it's water, wastewater, a roadway, a park project. We're seeing bids coming in anywhere from 20 to 50% over our engineering budget. And that's due to inflation. The other part of that, and you see a lot of the projects getting pushed back, is because of the lack of employees. The contractors, I mean, you can turn the news on tomorrow morning and you'll see a contractor advertising for truck drivers and equipment operators and pipe layers. It's something that I've never experienced in 32 years in doing this. So it's kind of a perfect storm. And I'm certainly not pointing fingers at any one person or any one situation, but we dropped the ball. As a firm, we dropped the ball, and we realize that, and we're moving that ball forward again. But again, we've got issues now with we don't have enough help in our business, and also in the construction business. We're having issues getting materials. We're having issues getting the people to install the materials. We have a project right now that the contractor cannot get 4-inch pipe. So they're going to pay the extra to get 6-inch pipe. It's a few more dollars per foot, but they're having to go to that extra expense to install a larger diameter pipe. So that's just at a kind of a 30,000 foot level of some of the things that have happened. And I'd be happy to meet either individually or as a board to talk to you individually or as a group about specific issues. If you'd like for me or Mr. Beckner to come, we can talk about those individually. We can talk about our path forward. But you have my guarantee and Mr. Beckner's guarantee that we are going to put Bluff City first in what we're doing. To answer your question, I've been with Mattern and Craig for 10 years. I haven't been working in Bluff City because we had a previous project manager. But when he left, Randy and I started splitting up his projects. And Randy, we have another client in Southwest Virginia that meets the same time. So one month you might get me, unfortunately. The next month you might get the big guy, Randy. But he has he's the chairman of our board. So not only when you have him here, you've got a seasoned professional engineer, but he's got the power of our entire firm behind him. We're about 85 people, and if we need be, we'll pull people from other projects. If we need be, we'll pull people from other offices. We have offices now in 4 states. We have 6 offices total. And Bluff City's an important client. We've been working here for around 25 years. And we recognize that. And we want to treat you with the respect that you deserve. So I'll leave it at that. And if you have any other specific questions, either about this contract for the ARPA funds going forward or with any of the other topics, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Well, I appreciate you coming and talking. See, I didn't know that everything changed for y'all.
Right.
No one's told me. And I've been coming to these meetings for over 30 years, and I've seen different contractors. And I even know other companies, I won't say their names, but they said they would, with the gentleman that's here for, there's no way they would work with him because, like I said, every time the project would cost way more than what he was allowed. And there's this one project in Bluff, and it was a tank for manure to go in. And the reason I know about it, because my husband built the fence around it. Well, the company that was doing it had to allocate some more money because, again, they were misinformed how much it was going to cost. They said, this price, and they knew. I don't even know much about that county and all that, and I could even look at the price and say, there's no way. Because it was just when steel and everything went up, this is about 15 years ago, when everything went up like crazy, just like it has now. And common sense would tell you, you can't use an old price when everything, I understand now, and you can't even get workers now. I don't understand that. I mean, why people won't want to work or what the deal is. But everybody, not just, all of us are having problems.
Yeah.
And like you said, I've never seen that in my life or never thought something like that could happen. It's just it's bizarre to me. But that is why I'm so concerned, because it has lived here, and I do come to these meetings, I do listen, and I knew the previous mayor real good, and we would talk about things we could talk about. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it's on a recording somewhere where I've complained about it, how come. And I remember Ray Harrington, it was a few years ago, something that y'all were doing on Jonesboro Road, I believe, come out of Hillcrest, and there was a bid, and one there's a real low one, and then there's like one in between, and then there's one that's real high. Well, obviously, you didn't want the real high. Automatically, you went with the lowest, and there was one problem after another. And that's why I'm concerned. It's not you personally.
I understand
It's not the
completely.
company. It's what we were told. And that affects us.
Oh, absolutely. We understand that. You have our attention. I can assure you that. And I can't stand here and make you any promises about future bids going forward.
Oh, I understand that.
Especially in this economy, but it's our duty to select the lowest competitive bid that meets the requirements of the
But
contract.
how do you know it won't? Okay, you're saying you have to, by law, take the lowest bid?
Typically, that is the
Okay,
case.
even if you know it will not, there's no way you can
Well, we don't,
do the job?
and I'm not here to, honestly, I'm not here to debate, but most of the time, we don't know that that's going to occur. If we know that's going to occur, then we would not recommend that particular contractor. But as far as the law, I kind of spoke out of turn, but it's our duty to recommend to this board that you hire the lowest bid that meets the requirements of the contract.
I mean,
It's our
that makes
duty.
common sense, but if you know before the board even votes on it that there's no way that amount of money is going to be able to do that project, is what I'm saying. I don't know how to, it just sounds crazy that they didn't make a law like that. And I mean, if you're saying that, I understand where you're coming from. You're like caught in the middle, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, we
But
are
I do
oftentimes.
appreciate you talking and coming and explaining.
I'm available anytime. I live here in Sullivan County, and I'm available anytime.
All right, thank you.
All right. What we're doing here, basically, is that Manor and Craig is currently helping us with the ARPA funds. And they have been helping us with the ARPA funds. All we're saying here is that we would like for them to continue to help us with the ARPA funds. That's it. That being said, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Vice Mayor Adams.
I second it.
Second by Alderwoman Moretz. Madam Recorder, take a vote, please.
Alderwoman Key,
Abstain.
Alderwoman Madison,
No.
Vice Mayor Adams,
Yes.
Alderwoman Moretz,
Yes.
Alderwoman Venable.
No.
It's a tie.
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion passes by majority. Next item on the agenda is discussion and action of the vice mayor appointment for the ensuing term. The vice mayor appointment is a member of the board that must be prepared to immediately assume the role and responsibility as mayor and or town manager. With that being said, I open the floor for nominations.
I nominate Carol Keith.
Can you hold that a second? Thank you. I'm honored. Really, I'm honored. But if you would, can we table this? And I know we can. I want to make a motion that we can vote for vice mayor at a later date. But I'm honored, and
It actually says in the charter,
In the charter,
as soon as possible.
as soon as possible,
Right.
whenever it's feasible.
Am I right, Mr. Fry?
Yes, so we don't have to do it.
Typically, it's done at this meeting.
Typically, it's done at this meeting, but
It doesn't have to be.
it doesn't have to be, but Mr. Adams would continue to serve.
How can he continue to serve?
Because we won't
We
have
have to have.
Oh, yes, we have to have a vice mayor.
I second the motion for you to be vice mayor.
All right. Ms. Venable, are you still staying with your motion, or you have a motion on the floor to nominate Carol Keith? Are you sticking with that motion?
No, I'm not.
What?
I don't want her to be.
Okay,
forced.
so are you withdrawing your
I'm
motion?
withdrawing.
Okay, motion withdrawn by Alderwoman Venable, but we had a second, so the...
Wait a minute. Can we do this at the next meeting? I have a family.
Okay, so, yeah, she withdrew her motion, so that nulls the second. Now, is there a motion to postpone?
Okay, now if we postpone, and Jeff, you had told me this, that we didn't have to have a vice mayor right away.
We have to have a
Well,
vice
you told me that you could hold the steering wheel, is what you told me.
We're talking about two different sets of duties. I'm the mayor.
I know who you are. I mean, I know.
The
I
vice mayor only acts in my absence or disability. That's it. The vice mayor doesn't do anything unless I'm absent or disabled.
I know that.
So, two different duties, two different responsibilities.
I know exactly his role, or the vice mayor's role. This is a.
It states it in the charter. I mean,
but what I'm saying is, we do not have to have a vice mayor.
we have to have a vice mayor. Yes, we do.
Is that true, Mr.
We
Fry?
have to have a vice mayor according to the charter.
According to the charter, tonight we have to appoint one.
No, Mr. Adams would serve, continue to serve until you appointed one. He would continue to be the vice mayor.
Go ahead and make your motion, Julie.
Okay, now we have no motions on the floor.
Started over.
The original motion
Motion
has
for
been
Carol
withdrawn.
Keith to be vice mayor.
I second it.
All right. Motion by Ben Adams for Carol Keith, seconded by Sandra Madison. Madam Recorder, take a vote.
Alderwoman Keith,
No.
Alderwoman Madison,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Adams,
Yes.
Alderwoman Moretz,
I want to abstain from this. Can I do that? I want to abstain from this.
Abstain?
Yes, please.
All right.
Alderwoman Venable.
Yes.
That's the majority.
2-1.
We have one no, 3 yeses, and 1 abstain.
Three's a majority.
Motion passes by majority. Congratulations, Vice Mayor Keith.
My husband's going to kill me.
Vice Mayor, if you wouldn't mind, we'll coordinate the responsibilities, keys, and all that kind of stuff once Vice Mayor
I
Adams
don't want
comes
any
in.
keys to the building. I don't want any codes. I don't want none of that.
Very good. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is my report. Calvin, could I borrow you just one more time to bring us up to date on the projects first and foremost?
We've hopefully seen some progress around town.
Absolutely.
Talking about the 3 projects, the Main Street water line, Railroad Street, and garage pump station. Those have been in front of you for quite some time. We're well aware of that. All the projects are now authorized for construction. The Main Street water line is about 80% complete. We're going into those months now where we're going to have to deal with weather, but hopefully we get that wrapped up. The garage pump station is about 50% complete, and then the Railroad Street sewer has not yet begun.
Excuse me.
The ARPA grant applications, 2 grant applications have been filed through the Development District. One is for the wastewater plant improvements. That's a $806,000 grant application, and one for some additional sewer line replacements is $398,000. This money is being granted from the state in addition to those funds that came directly to the counties and the municipalities. Just a little status update on that. The state of Tennessee allocated about $1.4 billion. In addition to those dollars that were already allocated, there were over $900,000 in applications made. So we're we're cautiously optimistic that our projects are going to be funded because there was some money left. As far as 2 additional applications have also been filed to TDEC through the Development District to complete what's called an asset management plan for both the water system and the sewer systems. And this is a special allocation of money that would be 100% principal forgiveness. It would be in the form of a loan, but it would be completely forgiven. And I don't know if Randy's explained more or less what the asset management plan does. So,
yes, he has.
That's becoming a requirement across the board for utilities to have that plan in place. And then your TDOT multimodal access grant. The selection policy was approved by this council last month and then sent to TDOT, so we're awaiting TDOT's authorization to proceed. And again, that's one of those things that's kind of out of our hands. We just wait for them, and you have our assurance that we're awaiting that we'll get going on that right away. And then the Chinkapin booster station, we're awaiting the final electrical design from our subconsultant. We've been told that he'll have it to us next week, and then we'll get with Alan to review that and plan to get it out to bid. But we feel very confident that everything's coming together as it should. If you have any questions about these projects or anything else, I'm available now or after the meeting.
Thank you, Calvin. If I may add, I don't think you were included in a little bit of email traffic late this afternoon.
Right.
But Jason actually poked the big T-Dot bear and said,
Good.
What's going on, and included Randy and I. And they came back and said, we're almost there. We'll soon have something to present to the town. That was about 4 o'clock today or something. Yeah.
All right. That's good. Glad to hear that.
Thank you for the brief, sir.
Yes, sir.
The only other 2 things I have to report is just to remind everybody and to get everybody as excited as I am for our parade on Saturday. Lineup will be at 4. We'll execute at 5. Looks like it's going to be one of the biggest we've ever had as far as response. And then the last thing, just want to brag on staff, all 3 departments. I mean, such good work being done. Folks care and go that extra mile. Greg's department, Sharon's department, and Alan's department, all 3. I mean, I get no negative feedback from the public. What I get is somebody leaves me a note and says, one of Alan's guys helped them change a tire. One of Greg's guys went and did this, or one of Sharon's team took the time to explain my water bill to me. So thank you. It's great to be part of that team. And that concludes my report. Next item on the agenda is report from our town attorney. Mr. Pratt.
This month we collected $2,800 in delinquent property tax, and I would like to wish each of you a Merry Christmas, the citizens and the staff. Merry Christmas. I love you all, and I hope we have a Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. All right. Next item on the agenda, discussion and action, financial report from our CMFO, Ms. Sharon.
Fund balance as of October 31st, 2022. General fund, $2,369,110. Sanitation fund, $33,278. Police special fund, $4,880. Debt service fund, $111,836. Sinking fund, $3,094. Water sewer fund, $832,190. Total fund balance is $3,354,388.
Thank you, ma'am. In hearing that report, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Alderman Adams.
I'll second it.
I'm sorry, was there a second?
Me.
Second by Alderwoman Venable. Is there any further discussion? Madam Recorder, take a vote, please.
Alderwoman Key.
Yes.
Alderwoman Madison.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Adams,
Yes.
Alderwoman Moretz,
Yes.
Alderwoman Venable.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Now we'll move into the department reports. First on deck is our good Chief Depew, Police and Public Safety.
Good evening, Mayor and Board, citizens. For the month of November, quite a pretty busy month. We had a total of 228 calls, issued 149 citations, 61 warnings, patrolled 5,235 miles, had 12 arrests, 12 offense reports, 10 alarms, had 9 accidents. That's a little high. 4 animal calls, 23 MSDs, 4 funeral escorts, 3 domestics, had 2 drug arrests. All the projects we're involved in right now are going well and actually ahead of schedule. Everything's very positive as far as all that stuff we're doing. It looks like with the Watson stuff, we'll be up and ready to roll. I mean, January, February, I know we got some equipment issues waiting on. And with the grants, I put some paperwork in your box.
I reviewed it. Thank you.
We're looking at about 3 different grants we're going to be applying for. We're looking at more grants we're even going to be going after because there's a lot of money right now we can get, so we're going after it. So all that stuff looks very positive. Everything's moving forward with the DTF officer. That's going well. Getting our feet on the ground running. It's still early in it, but I've now attended 2 meetings. Things are good there. The officer involved is doing really good, and as we move forward, it's just going to keep growing, and it'll get better and bigger. And there's a lot of stuff being worked on that end right now. Can't really get into here, but it's going to start showing some real success in the near future. That's about all I have. Like I said, everything's going well. Everybody's working hard, doing good. So appreciate everything from everybody, and hope everybody has a great Christmas and enjoy December, and let's go have a good New Year. Thanks.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chief. Next will be Public Works. I see Alan is not able to be with us this evening. Terry, do you have any type of report?
Ones I worked on anyway. Let's see. In the distribution, I know we replaced 3 new setters, 2 leaks, one on Weaver Branch and one on Timber Ridge. The pump stations, none of them's had any overflow in a long time. And then at the water plant, we've kept the tank at about a 45 average. It was really a little bit higher than that. One Saturday, Thomas hit a line and busted it and got us down a little bit low. After that, we've recovered back up now, and we're in 48, 49 feet.
Can you, I'm sorry, Terry,
sorry.
Can y'all hear him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. And we got THMs to get next month for the state, which I think all the ones we've got so far has been good. So after this year, we probably won't have to do that every quarter like we have been. I did talk to Dennis at Thomas today. He said that they had the line pressurized and were ready for us to flush. I'll have to look the rules up, see if they've changed it. It used to be if it's 1,500 feet or more, you had to get 2 samples, one at the beginning, one at the end. And I'm sure that will be more than 1,500 feet. Then we got to flush it. Got to dose it heavy, which they already have, flush it to our normal residual, and then let it sit at 48 hours, and then we can start hooking the customers back in. I'm going to try to start doing that this week. That's about it. I mean, all the distribution's running good, and got all the lights and everything up, I know. And the plant's running great. The water plant has. Any questions?
No. Kudos to you. Thank you so much. Sharon, do you have any type of report from Finance and Administration? Very good. I do not see any Sullivan County Commissioners with us, so we'll move on to the Board of Mayor and Alderman comments. Vice Mayor Carol Keith.
Hello, everybody. Pray my husband understand. But I thank you, everybody, for being here. And as you know, that I will continue to stand up, speak and speak out for what is right. I don't take my charge lightly. I will stand for what's right. I'll be there to help if I can. The only thing I ask people is don't lie to me. And Ms. Clark, I'm very sorry because a lie is very costly. A very good friend of mine that I've had for 25 years was hurt because of a lie. So let's continue to stand up, speak up, and speak out for what is right. And if you need me, please feel free to call me. And you all have a blessed, Merry Christmas, and let's be good one to another. God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sandra?
I want to thank everyone for coming. I hope and pray y'all have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, ma'am. Ben?
I think one thing that kind of stood out in the meeting tonight is that I think in hiring a city manager, we need to get somebody that knows how to work with grant money. Because it seems like there's a lot on the table, and that should be a really top priority for whoever's going to be in that position.
Yes, sir.
And if they can go out and chase that money down, we can do a lot of really good things in the town. So I think we have an opportunity in hiring a city manager full-time with, get somebody in here who knows how to do that. We're going to see really good things happening in our city. And Merry Christmas. Thank everybody for coming out. Good to see your faces.
Thank you, Ben. And personally, I want to thank you for your service as vice mayor. The board and the town, thank you for your service. All right, Heather.
I just want to thank everyone for coming, and I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Heather. Julie?
Basically, it's the same thing. Hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas. And the ones who knew Irene Wells, our past mayor, next week she'll be gone a year. And I hope y'all think about her and her family, the Wellses and the Coleman. That was her maiden name. And her brothers and sisters are still grieving very hard. Billy's grieving extremely hard still. And please just think of them, in your thoughts. I'm glad that we got everything straightened out tonight, because I know a lot of people were very upset by what they read in the paper. I don't get the paper, and I got several calls. People, what do you mean our taxes are going up? I mean, that's how they took it also. I didn't really take it that way, but they did. And hope to see you next year, and everything's perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate your comments. All right. Members of the board, is there any old business to discuss?
Well, as far as old business, did you talk to MTS to let them know that we are moving forward with hiring a city manager? Even though I know they said it could take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Remember when he was talking to us? And we can't afford one? Or I will be glad to reach out to him myself.
The way I came away, Vice Mayor, was that they were wanting y'all to talk about establishing a timeline and the hiring practice and job description all that.
Basically, but that would be what we would be doing.
Yeah, he did say for us to contact him whenever
you're ready to bring him back.
And we are.
Let's do it.
Okay. We'll schedule it. Is there any other old business? Is there any new business the board would like to bring?
Yes, there was a gentleman, he had dropped his resume off at my house. I don't know if any of you guys got one or not. He's concerned. Did you get one?
Joey Baker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He's concerned, he's wanting to know about the contract, I guess concerning paving or something.
Mr. Baker contacted me personally, and he was interested in the public works job that we have open. And I actually messaged with him, and he first said that he was looking for something part-time because he had retired from the county.
Right.
But then when I came to the office today, I had a resume and a city application from him. But that's all I know about it. Yeah.
He actually came to my home as well, and he said that he was wanting part-time city manager is what he was talking to me about.
That's what he
Okay.
said to me.
Okay, yeah.
That's what he told me.
But he would know that it would. We do want one, but it will be temporary until MTS, get us certified. But we need somebody.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Vice Mayor, because, like I say, he spoke with me about the maintenance worker job, but now he has not spoke with me about
Well,
the
he
town
did
manager
with me. He did speak about that with me, and he does have a lot of it. Have anybody read it?
Yes.
Resume.
He
He
does
does have administration experience.
As y'all go through and use MTAS, it's you now.
Right.
As far as, when you go and you set your timeline for hiring and come up with the job description and all that, that will be at that point when hiring should begin. I mean,
hiring can begin. Hiring can begin. I mean, if it was somebody right here now, and if we want to hire them, the board vote on them to hire. So,
I don't want
I'm
somebody that way for the position.
I'm not saying that. Excuse me, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just using it for an example.
Well, if you don't mind, Vice Mayor, from what I understand, the board would like for Sharon and I to do, or the group, is to get MTAS back here so that y'all can talk to them about the timeline and the job description. And we said we would, and we will.
Right.
So
And they said
that's
that they would also help us with
all I
online
know.
advertising.
Yeah, they would do
Exactly.
help us set up whatever we want to go for and help us do nationwide.
Right.
I don't want to take the first guy that put a resume in.
Oh. Well, we're not talking about that, and I'm not either. We're not going to make that mistake again, are we? We're not going to do that.
She has something to say.
Okay, so just to be clear, the board would like for us to coordinate another MTAS meeting.
Yes.
Okay, got it. And we obviously, Mr. Baker, his application will be kept on file in my office until you need it.
Right.
It'll be right there.
And also, if there are people that are interested in part-time,
But
and it won't be just anybody. I'm very careful now, okay?
But do you want MTAS, I guess, to
do
advertise, give you the full thing,
Throw it
the
out
timeline, advertise,
do the full work.
decide
You wanna
whether it's
hire a
going to be full or part-time.
until
We need
that's
someone
done?
now.
How about we just bring MTAS
It would
back?
only be temporary. Temporary.
Okay. Then what we'll do then as a staff for you is we will get MTAS back in here at a date that pleases you.
Right.
How about
And
that?
I will set up a meeting with them personally myself because there's so much I don't understand.
Okay. Very good. All right. Is any other new business? Hearing none and seeing none, I declare this meeting adjourned.